How's it going, everybody? So we're going to be going on we're going to do a range test today. So we have a Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive long-range edition. We're booked at 326 miles of range, so we're going to give it a shot. We're going to set a trip. We're going to head out there. Now I know I lose about 10% for regular use. It looks like it's about 40 degrees outside. So we're going to lose another 10-15% for that. Then I'm going to be driving on the highway. We're going to lose a bit of that as well. So my round trip is actually going to be 114 miles out and then 114 miles coming back. We're just going to loop out and come right back. So we're going to give it a shot. What I did, and you can kind of see here, I actually charged the car up to 100% last night. Typically I do 80%, but I charged it up to 100% as if I would do it on a regular road trip. And I want to do everything the way that I normally do. I'm going to drive like I normally do. It's myself, my wife, and our child in the back. And we're going to, we got a couple of things in the car as well. And then we're going to just go for a drive. And we're going to see how we do. So I'm actually going to use the navigation for it and see what I can get for it and then come back. So let's head out. We are well in our journey. We're off on our range test. Like I said, we're going to go out about 115 miles and then we're going to turn around and come back. One of the cool things about Tesla, and I'll show you guys this, when you're looking at it, is you actually have the map navigation screen can show you not only your turn-by-turn direction, but it'll show you how much you're going to have when you arrive as far as charge left over. And you can see when we get to St. Clairsville, which is at the end of the stop, we're going to have a 50% battery left, assuming everything stays constant. It's about 48 degrees outside, so we actually have a really good day for temperatures and everything like that. And then on top of that, in addition, you can look at the map and you see all those red dots on there. Those are actually supercharger stations. So if something happened and we ran out of charge or needed to stop, or we hit a big headwind on the way back and we run out of more battery, then we can always go and stop at one of those superchargers. You actually see, with the latest updates, you also see how many stalls are available. And if you click into each of the superchargers, you can actually find out if it's a V3 or a V2 supercharger anyway. So, but let's go. We're going to keep going and we'll keep you guys updated. Kind of a neat corporate headquarters for this company that made these wicker baskets for years. They actually closed down a couple of years ago, but it's a neat looking building nonetheless. Kind of see it in the distance there. It is shaped like one of their baskets that they used to sell. It's about a 6-story building. And it's like the company was, I think it's Lauenberger. We'll be able to see it on the side there. It's got a big Longaberger. Just a cool looking building. Welcome to eclectic Ohio. You know, I've got to say there is something that's super nice about stopping at a gas station, as you can see, and not getting gas. I mean, I love that fact, but it's kind of nice that we're just stopping here to use the restroom really quick and grab a snack on our route. One of the cool things, too, about the Tesla when you're driving in the navigation is it will constantly update your state of charge when you come to the completion, which in our case is arriving in St. Clairsville and then turning around and coming back. So, you know, when we left, we were about 50%. It was going to take us half a battery to get there and then half a battery to get back, essentially. And by just driving up and down the hills, regen braking, autopilot, all that sort of stuff. And now it is a great day for driving in that we don't have a big headwind. It's not hot. It's not cold. And it's just been a kind of real relaxing drive. But we've actually gained 6% of battery left. So if you take a look at it here, you can kind of see that we're at 56%, and we were actually at 50% when we left. So we're going to continue to monitor that as we move forward and, you know, like I said, not get gas at a gas station, and then we're off. So we're making really good time, and we're getting pretty good watt hours per mile as well. So we'll take a look at that in addition. But I wanted to show you guys another thing. What you can see here, not only our destination charge remaining when we get to our first stop, which is 56%, it also assumes that we're going to make our way back home, which is that return amount, and it's saying that when we get home, we're going to be about 3%. So I figure we have about 320 miles of range estimated on the vehicle in general. It's, as you can see, it's 53 degrees outside. We're going about 73 miles an hour, mostly highway. There isn't much wind. I've been in autopilot most of the way. I figure we lose about 10% just driving around in general, another 10% for the conditions outside, and then I drop another 5% because we are listening to the music and we're kind of jamming out in here and everything like that too. So taking that out of the calculation, it should bring us to about 5% remaining when we do return home, based on the fact that we're going 230 miles. So being that it's close to 3%, I'd say it's pretty in line with what I expected the range to be, but we'll keep track of that as we move forward. And we're actually going past the first supercharger as well. And another cool thing about this is you see those red dots on there with the 7. That's actually a supercharger location, and it's showing us that there are 7 stalls available. And if you click on it, it'll actually show you where the supercharger is, and it tells you the whether it's a V2 or V3 supercharger. In this case, at 150 kilowatts max, it's only a V2, so it would take us a little bit longer to charge, but it gives you the charging fees and idle fees and everything like that. So we're just going to keep plugging away, and I'll keep you guys filled in as we move. So we are just doing a quick stopover. We are going to stop, stretch our legs a little bit, and then head back. We're actually doing really good. We're doing really good on the route and everything like that. So the estimation was that we'd have 56% of our battery left, and if you look at this, we're actually sitting at about 54%. So she was pretty close. And then again, she's saying that we're going to have 52%. She also said on the return trip that we'd actually be at 2%. I'm going to kind of monitor that along the way. There is a supercharger station about halfway that we might stop at just in case, but we should be good to go. I think we're still traveling pretty good. The temperature is pretty good outside. There isn't really much wind. There isn't much weather, so we're getting kind of a maximum efficiency. And in fact, we're getting about 260. We were about 235 watt hours when I was first looking at it. And then if we look at our energy consumption, the projected range left about 147 miles. We have about 115 miles till we get home. And then looking at our trip, we were actually a little bit more efficient than they expected when we started. So we gained quite a bit of ground, once we got going. So we're going to measure it as we continue to move forward, and we're going to keep going. Actually cruising along. We're making really good time. We're making good energy consumption. It's actually gone up. It said before we were about 3%. It went up to 5% return. It was telling us to keep it at below 65. It actually upped us to 70, which is nice, and we're actually at 6%. So we are continuing to gain energy as we move forward. We're going down a lot of hills here. Temperature's great. The sun's starting to come out. It's 55 degrees outside, so we're actually dealing with some great weather. And we might even have just a smidge bit of a tailwind too. So, definitely road trip with a toddler, but it's been great so far. And we're about right in line with what the range calculation was going to be, or what I thought it might be from the beginning. So we are in our last leg right now. We actually just got out the highway. We're almost home. We have 7% of our battery left. So my initial calculation when we left, based on the mileage that we were actually going to be driving, what I thought we would lose for, kind of range loss a little bit with, or energy usage, I guess, for being 50 degrees, not a lot of wind, using the air conditioning, using the heat, that sort of thing. I thought we'd end up about 5%. So we ended up right at about 7%. We're almost home right now, so we're more than enough charge. So my range test was actually great, and everything came out pretty good. And you can kind of see that now. We have estimated or projected 21 miles at this point, which is more than enough to get us home. So we were actually slightly better than looking at our trip calculation, slightly better than what they projected. We kept the lineup higher. And looking at our watt hours, we ended up averaging about 261, which is nice. And this is on the second half of the trip, so everything went great. So we actually made it home. We pulled into the garage, getting ready to plug in and charge, and we got the low battery charge now warning. We are still at 7%. It's exactly what they told us it was going to be when we got here. The return trip was 124 miles, 2 hours. So we'll jump into the numbers and we'll go from there. So all in all, the range test was fantastic. We had great results. We had a fantastic day, great weather, not a lot of wind. It was almost perfect conditions for it. So what I was trying to do, like I said in the beginning, I set out to do kind of a real world test. I didn't want to have to plan for anything other than just jumping in the car and going, grabbing my family, packing up what we needed for the day and heading out. I wanted to see what I could get, how far I could go, what the battery could do in the car, and really to kind of see what mileage I could get. So let's jump into the numbers. So the estimated MPGE, or miles per gallon equivalent, for a Tesla Model Y long-range edition all-wheel drive, the model that we have, is 326 miles. So I typically calculate or figure in my mind I'm going to lose about 10% just from regular driving. I knew I was going to be mostly on the highway. I knew that was going to come into play a little bit, so I calculated 10% in my mind. I figured 10% because of the temperatures. Coming into some weather, it's going to be warm, it's going to be cold, sunny, cloudy, that sort of thing, maybe some rain. And then I calculate 5% because we were going to be jamming out. We're going to be listening to radio, we're going to be turning on the temperature, all that thing. So I knew all that stuff was going to come into play too. So I had another 5%. So I figured right from the start I was going to lose about 25%. Which would give me a total range estimate at 244.5 miles. That's kind of what I went into the challenge thinking in my mind. Now I knew we had about 105 to 115 miles out and then about the same distance coming back. So we ended up driving a total of 222 miles on the day. And we ended up right at 7% battery left over. So right at about 21 miles. So the calculation was pretty close. My 25% loss kind of came into play, and it gave me a good estimation as what we were going to use on the day, and it was nearly spot on. I figured we'd have about 5% battery. We ended up with about 7. The regen braking, as you saw in kind of the charts that we had during the drive, we actually gained some battery back. We were going downhill, regen braking, all that sort of stuff. I wasn't driving as aggressive, that kind of thing too. And then on the way back, I kept it below 70 miles an hour. I told us we could make it home if we kept it below 70, so I figured let's go for it. I threw the autopilot on, kept it below 70, and we kind of cruised through it like that. So I think all that stuff kind of helped. But what I wanted to kind of get from this, I wanted to make sure to get in my mind what the range I could get for the vehicle. I wanted to let you guys know what a kind of real world, realistic range could be on this vehicle. It was a super comfortable vehicle. It was a super comfortable ride. We had a professional toddler in the back. She did fantastic. We had a great drive all around, and it was kind of a lot of fun. It was a great day to get out and kind of explore a little bit. So you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Lets me know you like videos like this. Think about subscribing. We put videos in at least once a week. And let me know in the comments what you guys get for a range, or if there's anything you wanted me to try different or change around. So hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope you're staying safe out there.